everybody. I am Audra Heller with Audra Heller and Associates. And if some of you have been watching our Facebook page, we have been doing different lunch break knowledge series in which we're interviewing and just really visiting with different people that we know that their professions may be something that you have questions about or looking for advice and that type of thing. So today's guest I wanted to invite is Chris Maglich. Chris and I have known each other for years. Chris has two boys, as do I, and they're the same age, and they've been playing sports forever. And wanted to invite Chris out. He and I've talked several times over the years about different financial planning. What should we be doing as a parent with kids in elementary school? Should I be contributing to my 401 or my Roth or contributing to my kids' 529? So there's so many different things out there that way above my head at times. And I know when I start talking to people in the real estate business, I start talking sometimes accidentally over their head as well. So I wanted to just bring Chris on to just kind of talk about 529s, what's going on in the market and things like that. So Chris, obviously you and I have known each other forever. Tell our audience, I know you were with Edward Jones. Tell them how long you've been in the business and how did you get in the financial planning business?
So yeah, it's a longer story than it ever used to be, right? So, but I appreciate this is part of the fun of having a family and being involved and just seeing your kids grow and finding other folks that are professional in other industries. It's really cool. So I appreciate all this. I've been in the business since 2008. I learned a little bit from a fire hose on that nature, and been doing it ever since. And it kind of aligns with, I guess, my background of I had two parents that were educators and one that was involved in the financial world, and also the sports background of coaching and just working with people. I enjoy people. Everybody's story is different. Everybody has a different path, but from what we're able to do to try to make people be as successful as they can be and just be another arrow in their quiver. Try to help any way. There's a lot of fun in the community involvements, and meeting a lot of folks such as yourself. And that's really what has brought me to it. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy seeing their success and even in trying to keep everything going in a positive nature, no matter what hurdles they have. That's the fun part.
And I think that's part of why I wanted to invite you and just kind of visit. Obviously, people talk, everything you hear in the media is negative, negative, negative. And I get extremely frustrated with that. Sometimes don't even want to watch any of that because they could say that about my industry as well as your industry. And I think having a local knowledge or just normal people like you and I, rather than the people in New York or Florida or California, that's not us.
Yeah.
So what one of the things that I've asked you about is kind of what should people be doing? Like, in a big scope of things, obviously everyone is probably more customized, but everyone says, real estate's your best thing. Well, as real estate goes up and down, so should people be investing in the stock market? Like, what is one general advice maybe that you could give to our audience of what should they be doing for financial planning?
So big picture question, big picture answer is,
that was a lot.
Real estate is a fantastic asset. Whether you have assets that are involved in the market as 401k or anything, it's the true answer is a planning answer, and everybody's plan can be different. I mean, my biggest suggestion is, whoever it is, to work with some other professional, certainly have them be a fiduciary, but to work and get together. I mean, you should see them as an asset. It shouldn't be so product driven when you're working with a planner, but sit down. The special sauce of any of this is to take the time. Our lives are busy. There's short-term goals, there's long-term goals. What are we doing in the short term to try to hit all those goals in the long term? And I think in our society now, everything is expected to happen so fast that it's sometimes hard to visualize how, if I'm just taking little chunks of the cheese that we'll finally get to the big plate at some point. And in my experience, and there's articles and things that will tell you on a case-by-case basis that working with somebody will help you get there. It's almost a third-party view. I certainly have clients that have real estate as their biggest asset. I have some that have none, and both can kind of work. No plan has to be tailored one way or the other, and I think that's the biggest. Everybody's looking like at the direction that they want it to go, but there's multiple directions. It's just which path do you want to take? And I know it's a broad answer, but what we try to do is, hey, what are our goals? And let's work backwards. How do we do? Does that involve real estate? What does that entail? And you kind of got to get into what buy and hold. Buy and hold, it can be from a stock standpoint. It can be from a real estate standpoint. But all in all, look at it as something that adds to your portfolio that will give you gains or dividends or something in the future. And there's really not one asset that is going to be perfect for all. So it really is tailored to you. And that's why I think you need to work with somebody who does look at the plan tailored to you. And I guess that's my long-winded answer, but that is the best answer. There's not one thing for everybody. And I think real estate is a fantastic asset. You look at it as also a hedge to the overall market. Real estate is probably a more buy and hold. There's certainly people who flip and do things, but it's also a hedge to what any stocks, bonds, mutual funds are doing. So it's another great thing for your portfolio.
Well, and I love that too, because I think both of our professions are service oriented. There are people that will go online and buy stocks and try to manage it and do it themselves. There are also people who will buy and sell homes without a realtor involved. Same thing. But I think you and I both specialize in keep up with technology, keep up with knowledge, ever-changing laws and things to help solidify and make the roller coaster a little bit less ups and downs and not as crazy if they, that type of thing.
Sure.
Talk to me about, so you and I had talked about 529. So Chris, you and I both have great boys, very athletic. My husband and I have gone back and forth. Do we do a 529? Number one, times have changed. When I was growing up, you went to college. There was no choice. That was a given. So starting out, just maybe talk about some of the changes. Should people invest in a 529? I don't know if my kids are even going to go to college. What options or what things do you have there for us today?
We hit the nail on the head. There's actually been a considerable amount of change and enhancements to the 529s, because I think you've seen through the general public that the college is great. I mean, I have a college degree. My wife, and most of us as parents see that as a goal for our kids. But also the viewpoint of what college has changed at trade schools, vocational schools. I think those things are fantastic. So you've seen some policies come in place. So you have the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, you have the Secure Act of 2019, and now you have the Secure Act of 2.0 of 2022, and some major advancements in what the 529 can do. And so now, as of 2024, Secure Act 2.0, you will then, if you've had a 529 for 15 years, you will then start to be able, and have not used and have obviously assets or monetary assets left over, you can start to roll that into a Roth IRA with a cap limit of $35,000. That's an aggregate limit. You can do it, and it has to be for the same beneficiary, for the same person involved in the original plan, but you'll be able to roll it. So in the past, 529s, you had to either roll that over to another beneficiary of same family or sibling or grandchild, anything in that show. So they're opening up some of these windows, probably to make things a little bit more attractive, because I do think they see a little bit of the 529 just not being utilized as much as possible. You're also seeing it being opened up to the vocational and trade schools. As long as they're filed with the Department of Labor, you can use the 529s to pay for the vocational and trade schools, which I think is fantastic. It's probably actually not often spoken about. There's certainly things that we see in the way of the future that's going to be a great option. Laser technology. I mean, you could go on and on. Robotics, everything that we see out there and possibly in the future, I think is being thought about. And why not have that open to the 529? There's even a couple other advancements that we can hit on, but I know you had a question.
No, well, I was just going to ask you, because again, just making sure I'm understanding you correctly. So if I have a 529 set up for my son, I can use that for, can I use it for high school if we chose to send him to a private school, even though a lot of the public schools here in Kansas City are great, but could I do it for a private school?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even elementary.
Even elementary. Okay. I did not know that. So, okay, excellent. So for trade schools, we can do that. And then go back over the part that you just said. So the laws have changed is what I'm hearing you say. And so if my child doesn't go to college and I have $5, $10, $15, $20, $50,000 sitting there, I can use it and roll it into, what did you say, an IRA?
Yes, actually the Roth IRA.
Or the Roth IRA?
Allowing for a rollover. Yes, as of 2024. There are some specifics to this. It has to be in place for 15 years, and it is subject to the Roth limits every year. So like last year would have been 6,500, right? So they can roll that 65 over into a Roth. They do have to show income. They have to have income into the amount of what they, so if you're going to roll a 6,500, you have to show $6,500 in income for the participant, not the parents, the participant or the beneficiary. So there is some stipulations, and I would say certainly go over those disclosures with whoever. But it's another option to where it doesn't become dead money and then taxable as in past plans. So
okay.
And it can stay with the same beneficiary. So which is great. And in the past, those plans were not eligible for that.
And that, so down the road, so my son has the 529. Can he pass that on to his son? Could he roll that into a 529 for my grandchildren that I don't have? But down the road, 20, 30 years down the road.
When we allow them to start dating, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
That's right. Yes, that is true. You can pass them to a siblings and or children, grandchildren. They can then pass forward to those. Yes, and that is a non-taxable, no penalty transfer.
Excellent. Remind me, what's the, is there a maximum limit you can do each year to contribute to a 529?
Yes, they are subject to the gift tax exclusion, which is $17,000 per beneficiary. So,
okay.
so if you have more than one, you can double that amount.
I need to sell a couple more houses to meet that limit, but hey, we got to set goals.
We're on a roll.
Well, awesome. What other things? I know sometimes I've heard people, and maybe this is more something we should refer out to a CPA, but I know a lot of people that are self-employed and just maybe visiting, and maybe my next speaker should be a CPA to kind of come talk about, are there ways if you are self-employed to put your kids on payroll, all legally? I mean, there are rules that you can and can't do. I'm not trying to do anything, and I'm not a CPA by any means, but maybe to put them on payroll and then help fund those. So again, Chris and I aren't CPAs. We have rules and things that we can't, but visit with your CPA, because I believe there are ways that you can do that and get the professional and make sure you're all legal. I don't need anybody in IRS jail, but just kind of help to facilitate and fund those as well, right?
Absolutely. Again, full disclosure, talk to your accountant, CPA, your tax attorney, whoever helps you in those matters. But there are solutions, and I have clients that utilize those solutions every year, especially, and it doesn't have to start with college. Like we said, it can start with the primary elementary school. Therefore, and it goes back into that planning. Just stop. You need, everybody in my chair needs to understand what's going on in somebody's taxable world, so then we can go into the planning world and be efficient. It's just kind of a flow chart that way, and when you have all those cogs working together, it can be powerful. And like, yeah, absolutely. Anybody who's self-employed, please ask probably not right now. They're probably a little busy, but
Wait till after the 15th of April.
Yeah.
Days.
Maybe hold on a minute,
Yeah.
but yes, it can work that way. And I would absolutely use every tool that you can, especially for the self-employed small business. It can be a powerful tool. And I absolutely would look into that.
Excellent. What other things, any other advice or things that you want to give our friends and family that are watching us on Facebook that that they should be doing to plan for their future?
So planning is an ongoing thing. I would, as I kind of spoke earlier, is certainly utilize some professional. It doesn't have to be me. There's plenty of folks. I would make sure that they're a fiduciary. And what that means is they have to invest and do things in your best interest. There's fee only planners out there in the world that they just work for a fee and don't really manage it. Just find someone you can trust. It all comes back to trust. Same thing in the real estate world. You have to find someone you can trust, who's going to educate you on what's going on. They're going to have good contacts in the mortgage world. They're going. I mean, I shouldn't even speak because I hand it over. Right. And that's when you have that trust, you can utilize that with any professional. So, but you have to find that person who you can see is on the same side of the table as you, is aligned for your goals. And that's kind of a great way to work back into the 529. 529s are great tools. But it's only one tool. It's only one part of planning. I think all of us want to retire, and what retirement means is also different for us. Some folks, I have folks that they want to maybe be retired from what they're doing, but always want to do something. Or they get to 50, 55 years old and say, hey, I want to start my own business. What's this look like? All of these questions are great when you have solid professionals around you, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a CPA, whether an advisor, and I call you guys a real estate advisor, as mortgage advisors. I mean, everything. Have those folks that you value and just aren't there to necessarily sell you a product, but also be in alignment with your goals. And that doesn't matter what the solution is. To tailor that back into the 529, you need to make sure that's when you're talking part of your plan. That I have folks that come in often and, hey, I want my kids to go to college. I want to save them for college. Well, and start that as step one. Most times we kind of pump the brakes like, okay, that's a great thing. I want every kid to go to college. I want them to live the dream. I want all of us parents to have the feel good. But it's something that in that plan that we need to make sure that they're doing everything for themselves, and not in a selfish way, but there's more and more research going on. Retirement's expensive, and and with everything going on, we start to see a lot more parents, grandparents that are needing financial help from kids, grandkids, and everything in that nature. So it's part of my job to bring up those type of things and just look at the plan holistically and make sure those goals are taken care of. And as that goes back is to talk about that tax planning moment there too.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you to be part of this. Like I've said, I've known you for years, trust you. I know you're extremely knowledgeable and really put the client first. So, Chris, I really appreciate you coming on board, sharing knowledge about some of the laws changing, making sure you're covering yourself with Medicare, nursing homes, and everything else, making sure you kind of have these different pillars of savings for kids, for yourself, and things like that. So very, very important information as people are planning, no matter really what age they are, right? I mean, even some of our young people that, in their 20s, it's not too soon, right, to start planning? No,
it's not. And that's a big fallacy in the world where people think, well, I don't have anything to invest or anything. Well, that's not really what the planning world, I mean, eventually it gets probably, but the sooner you can start. The one thing in this business that it is just, mathematically, immense is compounding interest. The faster you can start, the easier that headwind is. I mean, it's hard. It truly is. It's time. Time is invaluable. I mean, we get one shot at this deal that we know of, and that's the time that you can do things financially to set yourself up. Really does ease those things at the end. It's not the be all end all, but it certainly can make things easier.
Well, it's all about making our money work for us. We work hard enough to get the money. Now let's make sure we're making it work for us. So, Well, Chris, we will wrap up. Tell us if anyone has specific questions, what's the best way to reach you? Is it email? Is it phone number, website? Tell us how to get a hold of you.
So yeah, email's great. It's Chris, CHRIS .Maglich, MAGLICH @edwardjones.com. I'm down here in North Kansas City, 2029 Burlington, right across from the big car wash. So if you get in the car wash, you start thinking about, I need a financial, we're right across the street. I know those go two hand in hand, don't they, while you're vacuuming? So, and then phone number here is 816-683-1458. And I always caveat, I'm open to talk to anyone, and I don't charge for talking on the phone or just questions of that nature. We really truly do try to help folks in any way possible.
Awesome. Chris, I appreciate all of your time. We will be sure to post all of your information as well if people have specific questions that they want to meet up. And if it's through the car wash or if it's a chicken and pickle, perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot the pickle. That man. See, you're better at me. You're better than me. So that's great. No, thank you. I truly appreciate this, and I hope this answers some questions for folks. And I think this is a great thing. I really do.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Chris. See you out there on the baseball field.
See you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.